What's up, everyone? Welcome back. This one is pretty interesting, and I read through it. I was like, damn, what would I do? Should I leave my job? Question mark. Hi, everyone. I want to look for a new job in cybersecurity, but I'm scared of the current market and not finding something stable. First, here is a bit about me. Okay, well, you're right. The market is definitely unstable. If you have some experience, you're probably at a higher position to get something or land something new because they're looking for people who have some type of experience, not right out of school. I work in a 4-year college in vulnerability management and for about 3 years now. My salary is 73K. Really depending on which state you are in, 73K for vulnerability management for the last 3 years. It's pretty low in my opinion. And again, that really depends on what state you're out of. I have a master's degree, and I know that's not cheap, in cybersecurity from WGU, which is pretty popular amongst a lot of these cybersecurity master degree programs. I have the Sec Plus, Net Plus, CYSA Plus, Sec X. Wow. Okay, that's going to the next level with the Sec X. SAL 1 and the AZ 900 certifications, which is the Azure. And my job is very comfy. That's good to know. I work for about 2 hours, and the rest of the day I study for new certifications or watch YouTube videos. We're being pretty blunt here. Hopefully no one finds you. I have zero stress at my job, which allows me to focus on my health and wellness. It's a very stable job, and I have great benefits as part of a union. Congrats. That is a lot more stable than most positions, especially if you end up going to private. Unfortunately, the job doesn't pay enough. I just got married and we are planning to buy a house and have a kid. I'm looking at other opportunities, but all I see are contract jobs for 3 to 6 months. Even though they pay more, they are not stable. And yes, they are not stable. And I'll go through my opinion on all that. I could stick it out at my current easy job and wait for pay raises, which will happen. Eventually, the 3% raises every year will become a 6-figure salary, even if it takes a while. You're pretty much compounding at that point, year after year. But, 3% is the typical increases, especially if you're part of a union. That's a guarantee. And if it doesn't happen for that year, it gets retroed, so it compounds even more. So, or I could get a new job that pays well, but might not be as stable with a lot more stress. What do you guys think? And what will you do in my shoes? Now, I'm not even going to entertain any of the comments that other people have said, but here's what I would tell you based on my experience. If you're currently making 73K and you don't feel like it's enough, you really have to justify what it sounds like to me that you're part of a union. And you really have to weigh out the benefits, right? Meaning your health insurance plans, especially if you're going to get married. One, it really matters if your significant other or your partner is going to be working or not. And then you're saying that you're having a kid. If you do take a contract job, your monthly medical expenses benefits, it's going to increase, right? So vision, dental, and your regular health plans are subject to change dramatically because consultants or contract jobs, one, if you're contracting and you have to form your own, if you get a 1099, then you're actually paying it out of pocket for yourself, opposed to working for a company and you're a contract role. That company that hires you will pay whatever medical benefits there is. But you really have to weigh out what's your deductible and things like that, right? That comes into a huge factor. My point is that you can be making 73K here, but let's just say you have zero deductible, meaning you have to pay anything out of pocket when you go see a doctor, your primary or specialist, and then you have to just probably pay the regular primary, just to go visit a specialist or a primary doctor, and you have to pay what, $10? I pay $5 for my primary doctor every visit, and that's because I work for the government. With schools, which is kind of like a EDU, right? You're actually part of a now. You didn't say if it was a private college or a community college or a state college. You sounds like you're part of a union, so you're also probably getting those benefits as well. So that's a huge factor. So on paper, you may not be looking like you make a lot more because it's 72K, but if you're paying 0% or you're paying $0 deductibles, that's basically free, kind of like free medical, right? You're just paying like the bare minimum for medical expenses. But if you work for a private consulting company or a private company in general, they usually have higher deductibles. They have different tiers, different plans. They could offer you $100,000, but your deductible could be around $6,000, which is not unheard of. Okay, I've experienced that myself. And if you're in a position where you need like prescription, it'll cost more. So let me just give you a general idea. Right now, working for the government, my prescription for any type of prescription is like $5, $10, whatever, right? But when I was working for a private organization, that same prescription was like $20, $30, right? So it's the same medicine, but it's just different pay scale, different pay rates, which is insane in my opinion. Now, it looks like you have a lot of experience. You have a master's in cybersecurity. I would probably stay where you are and like request that you want a increase if possible, at least to market rate. If you're the only one that's there, that's kind of odd considering it's a college and it probably has a lot of endpoints and a lot of, I don't know how many campuses, but I'm pretty sure you're not the only person on the team. And I would probably make it an open discussion with your manager to say, hey, I've been here for a while. I know this, I know that. Make yourself valuable to the point where they can probably increase you to a more current pay rate, comparable to what it is today on the market. So in short, it'll be a market rate. Your market rate, again, it really depends on what state you're working out of. I don't think you mentioned that here anywhere. I'm not going to dive in deeper, but it does make a considerable consideration of what state you're working out of, because every state is different, right? 73K is not the worst, but if this was your first job and you've been working there for 3 years, I would say that's pretty impressive. And the fact that you're saying that you're only preoccupied for the day of 2 hours, and then the rest of the day you're just watching YouTubes and studying for certification. And I'm hoping those certifications, the YouTube videos that you are watching is part of the certification that you're trying to make yourself better and not just randomly watching videos that is numbing your brain, right? You have zero stress, which is really crucial. Not a lot of places offer that. That's one thing no job can ever tell you straight up, on even in an interview or written down somewhere, that, hey, this job is not going to be stress-free. You'll never get that. You can only experience that while you're there. Don't take things for granted. It's the fact that you already know this place is stress-free and is good for your health, mentally and everything else. It means a lot already. It means you already know that this exists, right? The worst thing you want to do is leave here and then work for a new place and then realize how good you had it, but is 20,000 gonna make you feel better if you really are starting to stress out at the new place, right? That's gonna be a lot harder to fix. Let me tell you something. In my personal experience, I've been in a position where I was making $160,000+. But I didn't get along with the management. They were abusive. It was really toxic, and I said, if I had to leave, I just left. I found something, and I just proactively say, I cannot stay here and deal with this anymore. But luckily for me, it was a lateral move as far as salary wise, and I was able to do that. But I just couldn't stomach it anymore. I got really lucky that I found something. And the next place I went was the most amazing place, right? Great people, didn't have to deal with management where it was like overlooking down on you and talking down onto you. Huge difference in mentality when you start working and finding these, working different places and start experiencing this. So, in short, I would say stay till you find something that you feel that would be more, if not equivalent, to being stable as you are now. The fact that you're mentioning you're only seeing contract jobs, I would not, especially if you plan to start a family. Let's just end it here. If you plan to start a family, get married, and you're taking contract jobs, just imagine when they say 3 to 6 months, in short, what happens after the 6 month? There's no guarantee. And what if within the 9 month, let's just say you get married and you find out you're going to be a father in, during this time, and you take this contract job and you lose the job after the 6 month because the contract's over, and you have 3 more months before your child is born. You don't want to be in that position, especially if you're out of the contract or you're not working. Whose medical is it going under, right? Where's the medical benefits coming from? You have to consider all of that. It's not always about just the money. You also have to take in consideration vacation days, sick days, time off and things like that. If you're planning to have a family like you're stating here, maternity, paternity leave, huge factor. And I know schools, colleges in general are pretty flexible with that stuff. All right. I just want to end it there. And hopefully this answers this question. I thought this was amazing because I probably went through this many times myself. So very relevant to the real world. And thank you guys for being here. And just hit that like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys again really soon. Take care.